Hi everybody, it's Stan. It's been a long time since I did a video. I've been wanting to do one for forever, and I've just been very, very busy with work and other things that I'm involved in. I play in a band, and I'm like 63 years old, still drumming in like 5 bands. So it wears me down and tires me out, but it's fun. So, anyways, I'm back, and I'm going to try to do more videos. Um, there's a lot of things changing out there now where people seem to be a lot more aware of the truth of, where illness and disease comes from. Just a couple, 3 years ago, you could barely, make a statement on social media about, maybe where autism comes from, or, multiple sclerosis or whatever. And now it's pretty much common knowledge that a lot of those things come from toxins and that kind of thing, and can in fact be cured. So I'll just start from there. Someone recently told me about this doctor, Dr. Natasha Campbell Mcbride, and that's what I want to talk about today. This won't be a very long video, but highly recommend you look into her stuff and learn more, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But I usually go over this in all my videos. It's just from basic information. If you're looking for help and you found me, or somebody said, "Hey, go to Stan's YouTube channel. He has some pretty good stuff." No matter who comes to me, I always start with the stuff in yellow here. I address that no matter what anybody's done. Everybody says they're detoxing and done all these protocols, but I have to start from the beginning and cover the basics, because one thing, as an example, is MTHFR is pretty important in addressing that when you're doing detox. And a lot of people have done a certain detox, like oral chelation or regular IV chelation, which is not good, without addressing MTHFR, and they've gotten themselves really, really, really messed up. So be very, very careful what anybody tells you out there. Do a lot of research. Everybody thinks this is like take a pill and get well in a day, and my experience is it's absolutely not like that. I've been dealing with this for a long time. I removed my amalgams about 7 years ago, and I did well for several years. I'm still doing very, very well, but I seem to have lingering like gut issues and energy issues, but I'm also getting older, so it's kind of hard to know what's causing what. But this is an ongoing thing. Detoxing and nowadays is something everybody's got to do all the time. So even if you think you're healthy, low levels of toxicity can get you and cause issues. Okay, there's no such thing as a safe level. A lot of people say there is. That's what fools people. Doctors will say your levels are safe, they're low, but that's baloney. If you got symptoms and then in low levels, very likely the low levels are affecting you. My levels are all low. Okay, I did 2 hair tests. They all were pretty much low. Nothing screaming at me like, "Oh my God, you're off the graph" kind of thing. And I was with hundreds and hundreds of symptoms. So just a little bit more information here. You can stop the video and copy these links and look at what's being said out there by the EPA, the FDA. This IAOMT is a place to go to find a dentist in your area who does safe removal of amalgams. You want to do it safely. Even with safe removal, you can get messed up. So anyway, let's get into this Dr. Natasha. I found this website for her. You can, again, you can't click on a link, but copy the link and do some research on her. What I always try to do is connect all the dots and show you how to find the truth in your diagnosis. I was really impressed with the way she speaks and the way she explains things. She does a great job in talking very straight about how the gut is the center of where all illness and disease manifests from. But more importantly, it's how the toxins in our world, in our life, like heavy metals, can be the root cause, and how that interacts with your gut and then creates all these symptoms and stuff like that. A lot of people will say it's all about your gut and it's got nothing to do with maybe toxins. I have said for years it's the toxins is the root cause. But now that I see this information, the way she explains it, she connects the dots to how illness will manifest from the gut if your gut's messed up. But something's got to mess it up, right? You're not just necessarily born with a bad, gut. Although babies are born toxic, okay? The mom transfers her toxicity to the baby. It's a well-known fact. Firstborn gets hit worse than secondborn. So you have kids and your firstborn's a little bit more problematic than the other one. Well, sad to say, it could be traced back to that kind of thing. The thing to really keep in mind, and it's a key point, is this toxicity thing in your gut happens over time. It may happen faster for some people than others. Again, if you were born more toxic than your brother or sister, you're going to have a harder time in life dealing with this stuff. I talk about MTHFR a lot. I have that. I have like one of the worst variations of it. So I was extremely unable to detox Mercury and other things like that. So I'm very, very sensitive to everything. So I seem to be struggling all the time from the time I was a kid, just feeling well, and as you get older, you feel worse and worse and worse. So again, the key is it happens over time. It's not like, boom, one day, you're real sick, although that can happen too. But your body's fighting this all the time, trying not to, get sicker. And for me, maybe when I was in my early 20s, I got hit with mercury at work, and also I had amalgams. I had two different things going on. But, in my early 20s, I started feeling things are going downhill. By the time I was about 42, I was just about bedridden situation. Got some amalgams out. I did some IV chelation, which is not recommended, but that's all I knew at the time. I probably did get damage from that, so again, not recommending it. And I felt better. And I stupidly forgot I had one amalgam left in my mouth. And somewhere about in my mid-50s, as I was getting more and more symptoms and feeling worse, somebody said, look in your mouth, you probably have an amalgam you forgot about. And yeah, sure enough, I did. So it kind of sounds pretty dumb, but, it's just the way it goes. And, mercury affects your memory, affects a lot of things like that. So I believe that was part of why I kind of remembered it. And I said, oh my God, I think this person's right. Thank God they told me to look, Once I had that removed, I started to dump and detox and get better. It's the first time in my life I went the other way, to the good. So, so number 8, I want to talk about, or 7 and 8. I guess that what I want to say is, you hear a lot about genetics. How well we can fight these things could be genetic based, but genetics can easily be from many generations of toxicity affecting us, generation to generation to generation. And a lot of us, over 60% of the population, they say has MTHFR. I believe there's like genetics, it's the way our bodies are designed, but there's also illness-related things that affect our genes, and that's a different situation. And the system doesn't want to distinguish between the two. They want you to think there's only one, and you're all, you got these genetic issues because you're not a perfect human, which is baloney. We were all designed to be perfect, and something affected all that. So keep that in mind. And then the other thing I want to talk about, again, just to remind everybody, is I talk to people almost every day, and people still don't quite understand root cause. Diseases and illnesses are not root causes, they're symptoms. I have something called SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. To me, that's a symptom. It's not a disease. They call it a disease, but it's a symptom. It gives you all these symptoms, and it's caused by something. It's not just a disease that popped up in me out of nowhere. If you go on a SIBO group, nobody knows what the root cause is, and everybody has all kinds of different symptoms and different things that have helped them a little, but nobody has found their way out of it perfectly. I'm doing pretty good right now. I addressed a parasite issue that was completely ignored. So that's another thing I would recommend everybody kind of look into. And the only other thing I will say right now is, like, everybody goes for a lot of testing. Tests can throw you off course if you don't understand this whole big picture and connecting all the dots and stuff like that. Again, almost every day somebody tells me, my test said my levels were low. So what do you think? And I'm like, there is no such thing as a safe level. If you have symptoms and you have toxins in you, if you have metals in you, that's very likely what the root cause is. If you have amalgams, that's very likely what the root cause is. If you eat a lot of seafood and you don't feel well, and you're having symptoms like Mercury symptoms, guess what? It's probably because you eat too much seafood, and in particular things like tuna. So I'm jumping all over the board here a little bit, but my main thing is look up Dr. Natasha here. She speaks about all kinds of illness and disease and puts it in a nice way to kind of say, open your eyes. You may all trust your doctors. We don't want to talk about negatively about who we trust and all that, because we have to have faith in somebody. But at the end of the day, our doctors and our health system do not teach to look at things the way most of us that got healthy had to look at things. I mean, if I went to my doctor with all my symptoms, he would have nothing to do to help me. The only thing that helped me is this kind of stuff, finding people online that knew more than me and been through different things, understood how the gut works, understood how low levels can still mess you up, how seafood could cause you to get sick, stuff like that. So anyway, it's been a while. I kind of rambled here. I'm not in good practice of doing these, but hopefully I'll do more often. I just want to share this with everybody. I'm sure there's other doctors like her, but she just has a very easygoing speaking method, and just kind of hit you over the head with simple facts and things to be aware of. So hope you all are doing great. Have a great day. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.